guys, and welcome back to the Let's Talk Short Track Racing podcast. We are on episode 17, and we have Frank back with us tonight.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Feels like I've been gone a long time.
It did feel like a long time, but really it was just a little over a week.
Yeah, no, I think that's because we were off. I think when you do this every week like this, it feels like a long time it's almost like it feels like you're gone for like 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, when you miss a week, it feels extended.
Yeah, you guys did a good job last week.
Yeah.
I listened to it. I was, like I said, I was on the road.
Yeah.
I was traveling back from, where were we? Michigan?
Yep.
Yeah,
Berlin.
Michigan. Yep.
Yeah.
Up at Berlin.
Yeah,
I want
it
to
was
talk
a
about
fun,
Berlin.
It was a, you don't want to talk about great. Good thing that was
Just
a
kidding.
question I have for you.
No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, it was a fun episode. Jake did a really good job. It
Yeah.
was fun having him.
Yeah.
I mean, we missed you, but
He's a professional.
He is a professional.
I'm just a
It
guy
was
that talks
awesome
on a mic and
listening and learning from him.
yeah. I mean, at least I don't get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the show or anything. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
One time I was thinking about it, but
Last week maybe it was a long episode.
but we'll shorten it up, right?
Yeah.
We'll keep it short.
So I guess we didn't talk about anything with Berlin last week. So let's go ahead and we can kind of recap starting there. Carson Hocevar was just completely dominant. I believe he led every single lap at the Battle of Berlin.
But pretty much, like it's funny as a crew chief and watching the cars. You know, I was helping. I was crew chiefing for Seth Christensen.
Mm-hmm.
But we got wrecked early. We were running around, I would say, kind of that 10th, 11th spot, just kind of maintaining, just to get to the end of the run. And we were listening to him. He was making changes inside the car and driving. The spotter that we had for Seth was he's a racer, so he was really helping him. And that track is a driver track. A lot of people don't know that. There's spots on the track how you drive it. So it's funny. I was talking to Rich Bickle this morning, and he was telling me them tracks that are circles, and it's a circle, right?
Yeah.
And then it has no grip. You're constantly trying to find grip. You're trying to find where you apex the corner, all that stuff. But I was watching Hocevar he would run like kind of the middle groove in 1 and 2, like almost up the track, and then 3 and 4 he would rotate it earlier, then run it straight away into this. It was like watching him how he raced. It was different.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's where he was finding speed with that car. But as far as the setup, no one else had anything for what he was doing.
Yeah.
And
that's his home track, right?
Yeah, I think that's his place. And I mean, even last year.
But so much has changed too. But since it's newer tires since he regularly ran it.
Right. They run a different. They run it. He was on that tire last year. They run a different tire than the rest of the country.
Yeah.
So that tire, and to me, the tire is no grip, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the track has no grip. Then you're throwing a tire with no grip.
So it's just like being on ice.
I feel like it's magnifies what you're doing. If your car's a little bit this, it's magnifying. If its car's a little that, it's magnifying. So we didn't take any of the GTR cars up. We took our own car over there.
Okay.
But
your home car.
Grant and my dad and Kendrick and kind of Max, our crew, part of our crew, me and Nate were helping with Seth, so part of our crew was just helping Kendrick, and it was hard for us to watch our car struggle over helping Seth, but it was tough. Kendrick finished the race, finished on the lead lap, 16th. He told us not to take one single note. He didn't even want us to tell the lug nut sizes. He said, don't take no notes on that car. So it was a little struggle, but yeah, the rest of the group out there, Brian Campbell it seemed like them guys were just all riding and trying to get there, but there was no for him, there was nobody that was even a threat to him.
No, he had completely just ran away with it,
Yeah.
which it's awesome when that's you.
Yeah. And even Bubba, we were watching Bubba too. He was pitted down from us like 3 spots. All day he was struggling.
Yeah, and he won it last year,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and he's one that doesn't struggle.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, everyone struggles, but his struggle was real. Our struggle was real. Or Kendrick's struggle was real. I felt like we were closer with Seth. We were, just working out time, right? Them guys that race there all the time.
Yeah.
They got to, I mean, Striegel and them guys, they put on one hell of a race show. I mean, I don't think the rest of the country realizes what they do up there.
Yeah.
The car count was good.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd count was phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. We went there for the opener, just the opener, just a racing weekly opener, and the
Yeah.
crowd was huge.
Really?
So that group,
So what do you think they do differently than a lot of, per se, our local tracks?
I think the promotions are tenfold big. I think what happened with a lot of local racetracking right now is just social media side. I think they just focus on just social media now, and that's it. But that gets diluted too. You got to be careful with that, right?
Yeah.
If every track is throwing their stuff, which you got to do.
And I think a lot of them, this is going into kind of a little bit of the marketing side of me, but I think a lot of them focus on the organic side, so not really doing ads, and the only people seeing it
Yeah.
are people who are already following that page, and those are your loyal fans already. So it's about reaching the people who aren't regularly coming out to your track.
Yeah, we stopped at a convenience store to grab some ice. It was a little ways away. I'm not saying that far away from the track, but there was a poster in there. There was a thing up on. I seen it right away. Like they advertise on billboards. I see the
Okay.
billboards, and that race was advertised. I mean, so it's like there's stuff. I feel a little bit of like what years ago what they used to do, and
Yeah.
so like I said, I think that Jeff Striegel, they work it hard. During the race, they have a band playing. I don't know what time the band starts, but after the race, I mean, you go up to the beer tent
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call it, beer. I call them beer tents, but they actually have a bar, and there's a lot going on. There's just
Yeah.
a lot for the fans. It's very fan friendly. They got a nice little campground on site, with plugins.
Well,
So it's
yeah,
not
a
like
lot of tracks don't
Yeah.
have that.
and they do charge, but it's funny when I walked up there and you're racing, just go up there and take site number whatever, and plug
Wow.
in. So I mean, and the place is just beautiful.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
the facility
Very
is really
well
nice.
kept.
So but they have it going on. I feel like he's probably one of the best for that,
Yeah.
and so it's hard not to say that that's what it takes, right? When you have a big event going on, whatever it is, they race, not weekly the late models, but they race quite often,
Yeah.
and they promote it well. The big races they promoted well. Crowds were awesome. It was fun being there. Like I said, I don't care how we struggled with our car, our team over there, but we have to get that right, get it figured out. Because that's one race we need to be doing out of this shop every year,
Yeah.
just because of the presentation of that race.
Yeah.
So, and being in Michigan,
Yeah, being
But-
up there in near Grant's hometown
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything too. Yeah.
and I feel like even at times, where we, like I said, I'm from Wisconsin. I race out of Wisconsin. There's a lot going on in Wisconsin. There's a lot of races going on in Wisconsin. Dells Raceway Park raced last week. They had the same thing. They had a good crowd. They had a lot of good things going on. And but I think it's the same way. Like that race is another one well presented. Everybody knew that race was going on.
Yeah.
Decent car count, same thing. But
And kind of going back to we see that Tim commented and he said, what happened to the days of handing out flyers? I think
Yeah.
that was that is something that's missing now, like how you were saying in the gas station,
Yeah.
seeing a flyer there. Like a lot of the local tracks don't do that. And I mean, you have a lot of track owners that are not only running the track, but they run other businesses. And I think that's a big part too, is that it's kind of their hobby and you don't really realize, like they kind of forget in a way what it takes to grow a business.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing, is growing a business.
And a lot of times too, you got fans from all over parts of that state, right? So I remember, and Greg McCarnes was really good at this in Wisconsin. He would go to a big event at one track, and he had a whole stack of flyers, and they were dropping them in everybody's windshield in the pit,
Yeah.
that would come in the general admission area.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, that's in your face.
Yeah.
That's, to me, I call it direct marketing. You're directly seeing, oh, geez, that race is going on over there.
It's 20 minutes away.
Right.
That's next weekend. We don't have
Yeah,
anything. Yeah.
because I mean, we have like the Slinger Nationals, the the Money in the Bank at them races we kind of know about.
Yeah,
right?
you know about you remember that name
Yep.
all year.
All year. That time, it's always that time. And I think a lot of times when you're building something new, that's the steps you got to take. You got to build that. Slinger Nationals, the whole freaking city gets involved.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole city.
Yeah, and that's coming up. I'm excited too. I've never been to Slinger Nationals,
Yeah,
so what, 2-3 weeks from now?
Yeah, that. It's. I feel like that. It's. Yeah, what is that? The 8th.
Yeah,
Right?
Tuesday the 8th. I
Yeah,
believe.
geez, we gotta get Yellowbird ready. We gotta get Next Car ready. We got stuff to get ready.
Pressure's on now.
Yeah, I said that's a problem when you travel and you get back and it ain't like the old days or we just tweak a car here, throw a spring at it here, and get it ready for the next race. Nothing
No.
like that nowadays. You gotta build a car just to go to that race, and that's just where we're at with these late models. But that's another one everyone knows about. And
Yeah.
I know. So I like up at Golden Sands in Wisconsin. That's kind of like a home track for us. We have the Dells, obviously, Madison, everything close to my house. But we race a lot at Golden Sands. They're doing a new event on the 25th and 26th of July.
Okay.
If I'm saying that date right, 24th, 25th, or
24th
20th.
and 25th, I believe.
Yeah, that's the one. So it's a 2-day show. They're doing pros on Friday and supers on Saturday. So that's a new event. And in their case, Shannon does a great job up there. They promote well up there. That track does really, really good for a weekly program.
Yeah.
And then and it's just growing. But I always call it's the best kept secret, right? Not a lot of people, they got their thing, but their crowds are big. Anytime you got supers, their crowds are big.
Yeah.
So, but they're like, that event's new. They want to build it, and that's where you got to do some of that reach. Now I'll get to the other tracks, but that family does. They do. I've seen them at Jefferson. I've seen them at I've seen them at different Slinger. They were at Slinger talking to racers. So
Yeah.
that's the stuff you do as
And
a promoter.
I think I was gonna say that's huge. Like I know that a lot the drivers like feeling seen and heard. They like when a track owner calls or a promoter calls and says, "Hey, are you coming out this weekend?"
Yeah.
And I think that's something a lot of there's several that still do, but not everybody.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I don't know. I was a promoter for a. Not that I wanted to be one, but
It happened.
but I remember that was the one thing, you got to shake the tree.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you shake the tree, take care of the people, let the people know what's going on. And like I said, I think social media can be diluted. I mean, I feel like when we all first got face space and we all started doing our thing, and then now we have it. Now it's almost like, skip. I want to go over that.
It doesn't bother.
Yeah, it's not as vibrant it used to be, and I feel like somewhat we got to kind of keep rotation. Sometimes go repeat, do other things that you can do. But I think we need to find an airplane when I go to the beach and have that
The flyover, yeah.
the flyover, the Goodyear blimp. But that no, I feel like that's promoting is still, you got to still stick it to them on the promotion side.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well,
But-
should we talk a little bit? We didn't
Yeah.
have a ton of racing going on this past weekend, but we did have the Rumble by the River
Yep.
with the Southern Super Series, and Matt Craig, again, with dominating races. Matt Craig, I'm pretty sure he led every single lap, or if not every single
He's-
one, pretty close to all of them.
He's strong over there.
Yeah.
He's definitely strong. But I want to apologize to our guests. We're going to have Augie Grill on, but
Yeah.
he is under the weather.
I know,
so
I was
we're-
excited. That's his
Yeah, I was
neck
looking
of the
forward to it
woods.
because, it would have been nice to talk about that and talk to Augie because it is Father's Day coming up, and
Yeah.
him talking about his dad, and just a lot of questions I have just on, where racing came from, what started him in racing and that sort of thing. But so we apologize
Hope he feels better for sure.
yeah, I hope he feels better and gets back. We'll definitely have him back on
Yeah.
for sure. We're looking forward to talking with Augie.
And
So
then also at Montgomery this weekend was the Pro Late Models, the Show Me the Money series, and Casey Roderick.
he won that one.
Yeah.
With
yeah.
the 62 car.
Yeah.
Because they're fast.
But something always seems to
Seems to
happen.
happen,
Bad
and they
luck or
finally,
something.
finally pulled one through. Because I want to say that's a brand new Hamke car that they were working with.
believe
Yeah,
so.
or that team or whatever, but I could be wrong. But well, that's good for them because, like I said, he was in domination mode last year
Yeah.
with the Campy car, and now he's got to, get into a different ride, start all over again.
Oh, that's always how it is when
Well,
you're with a new.
It
yeah.
is, and it's, a lot of times these teams, they look at it like, okay, we got the fastest driver now, and Man, I
It's
hate
not
to say it in this
necessarily-
asphalt racing, it's so much about the vehicle that you're racing and the team behind it and everything that you got worked on. And you're, as I said, here in this camp here, we're constantly, we're constantly, I want to go back to one track for the second time off of what we get notes, because you're building a notebook, and that's the biggest thing in racing.
Yeah.
That, is test time,
Having
testing,
something to
testing,
refer back
yeah,
to.
and go back to and get back there, see what it's like, and that sort of thing. But yeah, no, I feel like we're busy. I mean, we've got Slinger coming up,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm sure there's short track races all over the country that we're going on. It's hard to, for
Yeah,
us.
I've kind of stopped trying to keep track of all of them because then I miss some and I'm like, okay.
Then
we'll
we'd have
talk
a
about them
4-hour show just
now.
talking about the results of every track that's going on
Yeah.
right now. But yeah,
Talk
that's-
about the big stuff and then
yeah.
go from there.
Our goal here, I feel like, is let's talk short track. Let's get some pass race. You guys had an awesome show last week. I did get
talking
to listen
to some
to it.
really
Yeah.
cool legends.
Just,
and
man, some of the things I took from it, I just, the one thing I remember was Gary Santamont talking about Mike Eddy about the, hey, let me lead one lap.
nothing.
Like I took that, like they talked about the work, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a guy that works hard on this stuff, and I'll never, sometimes I'll say, oh, this guy has that guy has this, but I don't quit on it, right? You gotta figure it out. I want to go back to Berlin and kick the hell out of that track because we gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
I want to because I think it's one of the neatest tracks in the country. It's
Yeah.
so unique. It's a track of its own, no different than Slinger is a track of its own. There's so many. That track we're going to race Jefferson here in July. That's another track back in Wisconsin. It's so different anything you ever race. Turn 1, 2 is flatter than a pancake, and turn 3 and 4 is banked.
Oh wow.
And so it's like fun. And it's a 3-groove track. It's a 3-wide
That's
track,
nice.
and they go 3-wide. They'll go 3, 4, 3 wide, 4
Yeah.
abreast at times, and they race it that way. But I hate to say it, if you brought that around here that wouldn't work, they'd be wrecking each other. But I remember spotting
There's no
Bert Kendrick
patience
saying,
down here.
you're in the middle, inside, outside, still in the middle for like 4 laps. My heart's racing as a spotter, just like, oh my God, I hope we get through this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
no.
Yeah, no, it's neat. But yeah, no, I feel like we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. But having the guests come on, talk about short track, their history, their backs. But yeah, I after these messages, I suppose we got what? We'll take a commercial break here and come back and
Yeah. Figure it out from
talk.
there.
Yeah, talk some short track racing.
Yeah.
So after these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Joe Constance with Joe's Racing Products. My company has been producing high-quality racing components in the USA for over 30 years. We know the commitment and determination it takes to win races because we race too. We're determined to produce quality products that can help you get to the finish line first. Ask your dealer for Joe's Racing Products or visit us online at joesracing.com.
Buying or selling a home? It's more than a transaction, it's a strategy. I'm Amy Lynn, and I bring clarity, confidence, and results to your real estate journey. Whether you're searching for the perfect place to call home or preparing to list your home for top dollar, I've got you covered. With smart marketing, strong negotiation, and a network you can trust, I don't just help clients close, I help them win. Let's make your next move the right one.
Welcome back to the Let's Talk Short Track Racing podcast. I believe we are going to be having Nick Neary calling in for a brief time, and we might have a few other surprise visitors along the way for the rest of the night.
That'd be good. Nick, do we know Nick? We ever met him?
I don't think so.
Hello?
I've heard a lot about it.
Got me, Nick? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. How's it going?
Good. We were just talking about if we knew you or not, but
No, not many do.
so I said that Augie was our guest tonight, but he's actually under the weather. We were just told by somebody in the shop, so he wouldn't be able to make it in or call in at all. So, but so your lovely future bride here,
Threw you under the bus and
she
said,
suckered
"Come
you.
on."
I mean, she threw you. Yeah.
No problem.
But yeah, no, we're just talking racing. I said, I know you haven't been in a car since.
Oh boy, what? Freedom Factory.
Yeah, Freedom. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So-
been a few weeks.
We almost got your car, your pro car all done, so you get to test that here at Citrus coming up. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
no, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I was actually just talking to Kendrick a little bit ago. He sent me a video of it.
Yeah, no, it's good. We're just about done with the super mod here in the shop, which is awesome. I can't wait to tell our guests about the super mod too.
Yeah. Nick doesn't know the update about the super mod. What's going on with it this weekend?
Yeah, Saturday we're going to be over at Citrus shaking it down. They're going to let us do practice over there, just run through their
Oh,
practice,
awesome.
just to shake it down, to get it ready to go up north, and then they want us to do like an expedition run. And
Intermission.
Oh, cool.
yeah, during intermission, which would be fun for I think down here in Florida, because the super mods, they're not down here.
No,
So it's-
it'll be cool for
Right.
them to get to
Yeah.
see.
So unlike the
Yeah, a
SEMA
lot of
thing,
people
so.
see something for the first time.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to make about 10 laps in it. So just let my guests know that
You're getting behind the wheel.
Yeah.
I'm getting behind the wheel. They're scared shitless, right?
How's Michelle feel about this one?
She's probably got the life policy already lined up. And don't you ride with 65 gallons of methanol all the way around you? Yeah. She's probably sitting there with a knife and a match ready to get me going, light me up.
Uh-oh.
But
Better behave.
but no, yeah. So we were just talking a little bit, and so your next races are coming up. You're looking forward to Slinger?
Yeah, I'm really excited. That's it's one I've wanted to do for a few years now, so it's going to be cool to finally get there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I said, like a lot of people up there that never raced the snowball, that's big down here. And then, people down here, everyone knows Slinger.
Yeah.
And like I said, as fast as they're going now on the tires that the STs up there. I talked to a couple racers up there, and man, they said the STs are actually pretty good this year up there. So it's
good.
It's curious to see, and then and it sounds like we're going to be on the ST2, ST1.
The original
Okay.
STs.
Well, and they're different. They're fast. They broke the track record at almost every track in Wisconsin right now. So I'm
Awesome.
curious to see what that's about if they change the tires. So Hoosier must be doing something, because even some of the Pro late model stuff up there with the tires a little different. So that'll be neat. But yeah, we're all looking forward to cruising up there. So, but yeah, no, we got you'll be looking forward to that then, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've done a few laps on the track on iRacing, and I know it's hard to compare to the real thing, but the track seems like a lot of fun. So excited to get up there and go somewhere new, and especially going to a big race like that.
I know Travis he's been putting a lot of grippy in the outside of the racetrack, which makes it that outside line runs good. And that stuff, when they lay it down fresh on the super nights, it's pretty good. It makes a 2-groove racetrack really,
Yeah.
really good. But yeah, get up there and we'll be testing on that Monday. That'll be awesome. But so then after that, our schedule, right?
Yeah.
We got Citrus, Auburndale. We got the URA race in Auburndale
Yeah.
coming up. That'll be big.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
your
I'm
home
excited
track
for that one.
Yep. You're got a race win this year at the beginning of the year. See if you can
Yeah,
get it.
or end of last year.
Yeah. See if you can get a.
New Year's Eve.
Yep.
Yeah.
There. Okay. End of last year.
Very
Yeah.
You could say you won both at.
beginning and the end.
Yeah. It was
I won twice, last year and this year.
Close enough.
Yeah. No, that'll be fun. So, but what do you think of your wife doing this show?
Oh, I love it. You know, I think it gets her a little more involved, and it's fun to watch. You know, I get off of work on Wednesdays, and I've always got something to do Wednesday nights.
Yeah. No, she does. She's been doing an awesome job. This is fun
Yeah.
doing this. So, a little better than we started, right, Aaron?
We're getting there. We are definitely getting there. I'm getting a few
Yeah, every
more
time
words
the
in.
show keeps getting better and better.
This is she communicating better as a girlfriend?
Oh, no comment on that one.
Yeah.
So.
Hello, are you there? Are you there? Hello.
I missed it.
But
Hello.
yeah, I like the comments that come in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Slinger is a fishbowl, exactly. But I remember, I'll say it was my first time I went to Slinger. Oh, I can't even tell you what year this was. This is probably 2000 or 2001. It was a twin 75s. Wayne Erickson owned the track at the time, I remember. And I remember they had a break at the 75 lapper.
Yeah.
And I remember getting on the radio and I said, "What's the caution for?" And my spotter says, "Oh, it's the halfway break." And and there was no like cautions. So we went from green to halfway, and it felt like a matter of minutes in the car. So it's kind of the track is fast, rhythmic, fun. I mean, for fans out there, it's just for the racer, everything's happening fast, but is super rhythmic. The place is very rhythmic track and a lot of fun, and the fans are great. Like I said, the whole city's involved, so that'll be fun for sure.
Yeah. And Nick, you were saying that you practiced on iRacing. Does that,
Yeah,
do
a
you
little
actually
bit.
think that it translates over any, or how do you think it helps?
Not a ton. I don't know. It's tough to say. You know, there's few places that I've actually gotten to run in real life that have, you know, ran on iRacing and to kind of compare. But I mean, there's little things that help kind of familiarize yourself with it before you get there. But it's definitely not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the G-forces, I think.
Having to be in the car.
When I jumped on Kendrick's iRacing on Slinger, there's a lot of comparables, but the G-force thing when you're sitting in the seat is crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you can't get that unless you're in the seat. Or
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
probably the NASCAR simulators have that part.
that feel,
Yeah.
but probably not as much as it actually is because
Yeah.
it's pretty insane. But
Yeah.
I guess we're going to go to break here real quick, and we're going to keep you right on, and we'll be right back after these messages. And
All right.
So hang in there, Nick, and we're just going to keep on rolling. But after these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Joe Constance with Joe's Racing Products. My company has been producing high-quality racing components in the USA for over 30 years. We know the commitment and determination it takes to win races because we race too. We're determined to produce quality products that can help you get to the finish line first. Ask your dealer for Joe's Racing Products or visit us online at joesracing.com.
Buying or selling a home? It's more than a transaction, it's a strategy. I'm Amy Lynn, and I bring clarity, confidence, and results to your real estate journey. Whether you're searching for the perfect place to call home or preparing to list your home for top dollar, I've got you covered. With smart marketing, strong negotiation, and a network you can trust, I don't just help clients close, I help them win. Let's make your next move the right one.
All right, welcome back to the Let's Talk Short Track Racing podcast. On the phone with us now, we have Mr. Bill Bigley Jr. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
And let's just hop straight in. You just, 2-3 weeks ago, we had the warm-up, the Bigley tune-up for the race coming up in November. Each year it seems to be we get more and more out-of-town drivers. The tune-up, this was the second year for that, and it seems each year that seems to also be getting bigger.
It does. I mean, it's just I like how the format went this year, being that it wasn't so close. Last year, the only schedule that we had the only date that worked in the schedule was like in September.
Yeah.
So it was only like 2 months apart. Well, this time, being that it was in May, it made it a lot easier for everybody. So that the guys that could come down, we didn't get really very many out-of-staters, but the thing is, because their season had already started, so they're in high gear what they're doing, because there's some of them guys are racing 3-4 nights a week, but it was still a good turnout. It was a good race, and and it looked like the fan base was really, really good. I know the pits were packed.
Yeah.
I mean, they were 3-4 deep standing on the back straightaway. So, I mean, it's going to get bigger, I'm sure, with the, help from the Freedom Factory and Cletus and Josh and Ryan and everybody there. It's just going to get bigger and better.
I agree with that. I said that. I'm from Wisconsin, so it's like the boys come down in the fall real easy because our season ends after Oktoberfest. But, like you're saying, that race there, everything starts up, up north, and everybody's got their fresh new car, and we race 3-4 nights a week, so it's hard to get down here. But a lot of them guys that came down in the fall, I mean, last year we had 5-6 Wisconsin guys here running.
And the nice part about it is that the word is getting out, and Jason Edmonds has helped that a lot. Being able to get the word out to a lot of these racers, a lot of these racetracks. He's the one that actually kind of the very first year when it was at 417 and we got Ty down here, and then, Ty went back, and I mean, he put it on social media, what a great time it was. And it's a great paying race for the amount of laps, the amount of time that you're there, and the amount of, money you have to spend to make that kind of money, so, just saying that, I mean, Ty's got, right now he's one of the best in the country, if not the best. And, for him to say something positive like that, it means a lot to us. It means a lot to the, to the whole UARA organization, and, just trying to, make this thing bigger and better. I mean, the biggest thing that, and I've said it a million times since it's been 10 years since my dad passed away, but I've said it a million times that, my dad was a true and true racer, but the thing is he always wanted to make sure that the racers, that they were taken care of. All the way through. And then that's how we designed this race to be, and then once we get enough good racers there, then we got to take care of the fans, and the fans are going to show up, especially if it's advertised properly. If people, word of mouth, get flyers out there, just even old school, go throw flyers underneath windshield wipers in parking lots everywhere,
That I was just talking about that.
I mean, and I mean, I'm old now, but I mean, I run back in the Bob Harmon era days, and Bob Harmon, I would ask him, and he said, I straight up asked him, I'm like, how do you get so many people in your grandstands? We'd go to Birmingham, and that place would hold 8,000 people, and it'd be packed. It'd have 78 to 85% packed. And he says, well, he called me Billy Boy. Billy Boy, let me explain how it works. He said, I come down here on Wednesday, and I bring me about 2,000 flyers, and I go to every mall. He goes, I even go to the schools. He said, and I go out there and I put me flyers myself underneath windshield wipers. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yep. And he said, if you present this, and then they would give them like a break, or you get a free hot dog if you bring the flyer with you and things like that. And he said, you know how many flyers we got back? More than half.
That's
and
awesome.
And it's true. I mean, it holds true, And one thing that he did say to me, and which I tell every promoter that I've ever been around, and I've probably been to 200 racetracks in my day. And I'm like, an empty seat costs you money.
Yep.
I'd rather give that seat away and put a rear end in it, and they're going to go to the concession stand, they're going to go to the merchandise stand, they're going to go to the beer wagon, they're going to go to the pizza place, they're going to go everywhere and spend money. And if you put a butt in the seat, you're going to make money off that person in that seat.
You bet. I used to own Dells Raceway Park up in
There you go.
Wisconsin Dells, and I said that I learned one thing when people come to your track, our average was $22 a person. However that was spent, that's what they spent. It was $22 a person. If you had 2,000 people, it was $22 times 2,000 people. You had 3,000 people.
Right.
It was like that. That track was. The Dells is a really neat track, but it only could hold 4,400 people. But the crazy thing, it always looked packed because it wasn't nothing on a big race to get 4,400 people. But the place was packed. But just with that guy saying the flyer thing, we did that a lot up there. And that was the same with me. I always drove the pace truck through town, and then that was a huge tourist town. So I would hit the hotels. I would just drop them flyers off. And I said that, like the racers, right? You have the racers doing some of that with you, because, like I said, it's so hard because a lot of times people think they're owed something. But at the end of the day, it takes us all to do it together. Here's your family helping put this program together. And I feel like this race that you guys are doing like right now with Ricky, I think is it's going to be one of the biggest races in the country. I can see it already coming. This is our first year doing it with my son Kendrick, and Nick. It was my first year doing it that I was down here doing it, but I used to test there all the time with Campy. When I was helping Campy, we'd go to that DeSoto track, so I kind of knew the track. That bump at 3, I swear to God, got bigger, but I don't remember it's a jump. It's not even a bump. But,
right, exactly.
But I said...
But that's just it, the biggest thing is I never intended... the reason why I wanted to back in the day is I had a buddy of mine call me when my dad passed away, and he said, we need to do something on your dad. And I go, what are you talking about? He said, we need to do something for him. Let's hold a memorial race for him. And I'm like, all right, well, what do you think? And so he said, and again, I was doing it for the locals to try to give those guys, the very first race, I think we were it had to be 128 laps because our number's 28.
Yeah.
It had to be 128 laps. There's only going to be 28 cars. That was the limit. So everything was around the number 28, and then we ended up, we got a little bit of sponsorship money. I went out there and probably got, I probably got 50 or 60% of the money myself. I just really worked hard. And then, I think it was 5,000 to win, and we made it like 600 or 700 to start. And then, then we did that for like 2 years, and then more people wanted to step up. We started getting more cars, and we started, then finally the next year we got up to the 28, and it was everybody was going to make the race, and then now it is what it is. It's, last year 30,000 win, 1,200 to start,
Yeah.
So, there's not, again, my goal is to not, 30,000 per 128 laps is phenomenal. Okay.
Yeah.
Even in this day and age, but what I want to do, my goal is to at least try to bring the start money up. And then the other thing that we thrive to do, or I actually thrive to do through the likes of my dad, how he was, is that, well, what are we going to do? We ended up having 40 cars on the ground at 417. Well, what are we going to do? And I'm like, well, what do you mean what we're going to do? We're going to race everybody. We're going to have a 50-lap, non-qualifiers race, and it paid $1,600 to win.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think it paid $400 or $500 to start. So now this guy can at least make something. He gets to race.
Yeah.
That's going to bring him back. The very first time that we we went, because it was at DeSoto at the time. It was DeSoto when John Saperkin, Senior owned it, and then no, I'm sorry, he didn't. He owned it, but then a guy named Denny owned he owned a record company, and he had the lease on it from John.
Right, he was
So
renting
it was yeah. So then he ended up taking in the next year. We brought it to 417, and I sat down with Joe and Janet, and we got everything worked out. And there was a couple of guys that broke in practice, and I walked up to Joe and I said, "Look, we can't let these guys go empty-handed." He says, "What do you mean?" And I said, "My dad was so hardcore about go take care of that guy. I remember back in the day where they used to have tow money. So if a guy didn't even make the race, I mean, he would get like 25 or 30 bucks tow money.
Yeah.
And that would have paid his way in, or that would give him a little bit of gas to go home, or at least buy him breakfast to go home, things like that. So I walked up to Joe and I said, "Look, I'm going to walk up. I'm going to go give these two guys $200 each out of my own pocket." And he's like, "For what?" And I go, "Because we want these guys to go home and talk about what we've done for them, not about just what they're doing for us."
Yeah. That loyalty will be there.
And, yeah, and then what had happened is, so Joe goes, no, you're not going to do it. I'll be right back. Jumped on the golf cart, went over to the front to his office, come back, and he said, "Come on, let's go." So we went over there. We shook the guy's hand. We knew that they had wrecked or whatever in practice, or had issues in practice. They weren't going to make the main. Joe goes, "Here, we want to give you this together, as a token of appreciation for you showing up and supporting this race. We'll be back next year."
Yeah.
I mean, it was just that simple. We'll be back next year.
That's what it does, is it's relationships at the end of the day.
Exactly. And it just seems like, I mean, you know and can relate to what I'm going to say, since you owned a racetrack. My parents ran a racetrack for like 10 or 12 years down here in Naples. But in short track racing, 90% of the time, the racer pays their own purse.
Yeah.
For what they bring in.
Yep,
I mean, it has to be that way. It had to be that way. And it's okay. That's just the nature of the beast.
Yep.
But what I'm saying is that I wanted somebody to be able to go out there and buy a set of tires, buy 3 or 4 armbands, buy 10 or 15 gallons of fuel just to make one lap.
Yep.
That's all I care. Just you make one lap, and all of that paid for, and the rest of it that you make more than that is gravy.
Yeah.
I built some crazy ingredients to make things work in racing. That Tundra series up in Wisconsin, I did something where I had the guys pre-buy the tires at the beginning of the year for the season. So when they came, I always said how it is, Billy, like when racing at the beginning of the season, you got money, right? You got the car all built, you're ready to go, and then by mid-season, everybody's broke. No one.
Right.
And I said, I got to get something where the pit passes. So what I started doing is I got rid of pit passes for the drivers and so many crew members. Then I did the tires on cost, and I sat down with Hoosier, and I made a super good deal on the tires, the tire that they don't normally sell, but ended up with that tire. We had a different size than normally we had, so we did things just creative. But you're right, you have to do things creative to keep that. And just like you said, that non-features qualifier deal, we call that back home. We call them futures now. The guys who didn't make the show here's the futures. They come out and they have their show, and we have a lot of cars. You do different things, but. Yeah, it's neat. It's neat talking to you about this, because I've seen you, but I haven't actually got a chance to shake your hand and meet you. And I will the next event, guaranteed I will.
For sure.
But I know we're going into commercial break and moving on to the thing. We got 15-minute segments, but we definitely want you to have. I think we should have them back on for sure. And your family, because especially on, going into the fall event, I think that'd be great to have you on for a full half-hour segment with us. We were supposed to have Augie. It's Father's Day weekend coming up. And this is neat, because here we got you on here and you're talking about your dad. I think this is cool. Yeah. But we definitely want you back on.
Okay, for sure. I mean,
and let's and maybe do something.
I think Nick
live.
has my number, or Aaron probably can get my number or whatever. I mean, you just called it, so
we'll bring you in. I think we should have him in. I think we'd do a live segment and then just make it all about that race.
Make the truck up from Naples.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think we go down there.
Or,
come on. Come on. Either way.
They got a nice shop.
Yeah, we just built a brand new one, so.
Yeah, no, that'd be neat.
It's not as big as Grant's, but it's big for us,
That, we got too many cars in here right now. We got every I mean, we're looking for a dragster. We don't have one of them. You got one for sale? Just kidding.
No, I don't know. I
got
know straight line for sure.
Super mod sprint cars. We got hot
Yeah,
rods. We got all
you
kinds
know.
of stuff in here. But
Well, since
We have everything from Crown Vics to a super late model, you know.
that's what Kendrick calls the super mod. He calls that the Crown. That's our new Crown Vic.
Yeah. Yeah, because we like I say, my grandson, we got a Crown Vic for him. We've got 2 Sportsmans in the shop. We've got 3 late models in the shop. We've got a pro truck in the shop.
Yeah, that Crown
So-
Vic thing has taken off down here. Something fierce.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Oh my
It is.
gosh, it's awesome.
It
when's
is.
that
And
getting back on the track?
it's probably gonna be a little bit. We're gonna take them up and let them practice it.
Yeah.
Because both my grandson and granddaughter have been practicing a little bit, and we'll probably take them back up to Auburndale because it's a small enough track and they won't really get themselves in trouble.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
Rex, thank goodness for Rex. He lets us come up there and play.
Yeah.
And when they're not anybody else around, it's just us. I put a radio in their ear so I can talk to them, and
Mhm.
they're doing good. You know, they're having fun. You know, when I feel that they're, we'll still bring it because Corey ran it last time, and
Okay.
yeah, he enjoyed it. You know, I told him, I said, because poor old Dylan drove it the time before that, and we were going to stay there for my grandson, little Billy, and Dylan got ran over and got stuffed in the fence. You know, so it knocked right from suspension off of it. So we didn't stay and let him practice on Sunday. So Corey ran it the next time, and both my grandson and granddaughter were going to practice on Sunday. And I kept telling Corey, don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get this thing tore up because we're staying tonight and we're going to practice tomorrow, you know. And he did a good job. So he didn't tear it up, and they got to play for about 3 or 4 hours on Sunday. And so it'll be, I don't know, it'll be a little bit, but it'll be back out. You know, we'll go out there and have some fun and play with it again.
Good.
Sounds awesome.
Yes.
Well, hey, it was enjoyable having you on. Thanks for, it was last minute. Like I
Yeah,
said,
no,
we're
not a
trying to
problem.
look for guests, but we are definitely going to have you back on. But thank you for your time, for sure.
You're quite welcome. Thanks for calling.
You bet. After these messages,
All right.
we'll be right back.
Buying or selling a home? It's more than a transaction, it's a strategy. I'm Amy Lynn, and I bring clarity, confidence, and results to your real estate journey. Whether you're searching for the perfect place to call home or preparing to list your home for top dollar, I've got you covered. With smart marketing, strong negotiation, and a network you can trust, I don't just help clients close, I help them win. Let's make your next move the right one.
Hi, my name is Joe Constance with Joe's Racing Products. My company has been producing high-quality racing components in the USA for over 30 years. We know the commitment and determination it takes to win races because we race too. We're determined to produce quality products that can help you get to the finish line first. Ask your dealer for Joe's Racing Products or visit us online at joesracing.com.
All right, welcome back to the Let's Talk Short Track Racing podcast. We have Daniel Webster on the phone with us now. This is like your third time being a guest on the show?
I like having Daniel on.
Yeah. And I think, are you going to talk tech talk with him a little bit?
We could come up with something, right, Daniel?
Oh yeah, that's the benefit of it's funny. Like Alec and I were kind of working on, and my buddy Phil, creating a YouTube vlog that I'm trying to build enough time into my schedule to be able to film, because like being on every different side of this stuff, from being a driver, a crew chief, car builder, vinyl wrap designer, driver coach, hauler driver. I got to work on my generator tomorrow for my trailer. Like
we can't get our phone to work.
Like, oh yeah, yeah, that too. Hotel booker. Sometimes too late and have to drive around and find a crappy one.
I think your marketing guy must suck. He's not helping you out at all.
He makes cool flyers.
Does he hand them out to the mall at the mall and we're just?
Oh no, strictly Facebook shares.
Yeah. Perfect.
That works.
Well, so how you guys doing tonight?
Good. We're just, like I said, we were going to have Augie on, but he was under the weather.
I gotcha.
And just his health and stuff. We just want to make sure Augie's okay, and it would have been neat, Father's Day coming up. But I'm glad you guys all came on. We had Billy on just a second ago, and now we got you on. And like I said, being down here, I get to meet you guys. Finally met you at the track there at
yeah.
It's the first time.
Yeah, I think we talked on here twice, I think, before actually meeting in person.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I said, so you ended up, I was asking what happened at that race, because your car was really good. I was watching it. I was standing in turn 3, watching Nick and Kendrick but everybody else. But, your car, the trailing arm, is that what ended up breaking, or what ended up happening there?
It's spun a trailing arm bracket.
Oh, okay.
I've always had steel tubes on every car I've ever had, and this one had aluminum tubes. And I just, on the last restart that I was in, like around lap 40, I restarted on the outside of Hines. I got a pretty good restart, and he ground me up a little bit in 3 to 4, which is, super easy to do there, just how rough it is getting into 3.
So 3, hitting that jump? It ain't even a bump, it's a jump.
Yeah, he hit the jump. It kind of washed me up a little bit, so I kind of threw a hard crossover at him just to kind of let him know, like, hey, all right, like, I know that wasn't on purpose, but when I did, I spiked the brake pedal pretty hard just to, to get in there tight on his quarter, but then get back out without touching him.
Yeah.
And when I did it wheel hopped violently so bad it jumped out of gear. And I've never had that happen in a 3-lane car. Like, it must have broke right then. It actually bent the top cap of the trailing arm bracket. It, like, wadded it up.
Yeah.
And then I drove it about 8 more laps broken with about 4 inches of skew under braking. If you go back and watch my in-car that Kyle Bellinger posted, I would go down the straightaway, tap the brake pedal, the car would rotate about 10 degrees, I'd turn to the right, catch it, and then steer down into the corner. I was so desperate to not pull off. I'm like, this car is so fast. Let me see if I can figure out what's happening. Yes. Except I was using the right rear shock and spring to limit the skew up against the axle tube. It was I credit my days of pure stock, street stock, sportsman, truck, whatever random crap I get in driving to be able to acclimate to the car turning across the straightaway.
Like, this thing's about to kill me, but I'll keep running. I'll see what we got here.
But it's good.
Well, it's like, man, I'm keeping up with the leader. It's like, I don't want to just pull off, even though I feel it's clearly broken. Oh, I'm so frustrated. That's the best Super I've had in probably 10 years as far as just speed and drivability. Like, it had that speed, but I feel like I was the only car that could get in on the bottom and still get all the drive off I wanted. I didn't have to diamond it. Like, it had no line sensitivity to it, which is really hard to find there.
Yeah.
I haven't won a Super. I've won in sportsmen's, trucks, modifieds, random crap, whatever. But I haven't won a Super race in 11 years.
Yeah.
And I have
so you're just dying
5 second places. I had 5 seconds last year alone in like 8 starts. I was so frustrated. And like I said, I was trying to hang on to it, and I feel like it's breaking more. I should probably pull off now.
I figured out how to build. We're gonna grease the sleeve and make that baby work.
That's what we were joking about. Like, all right, how can we make that work in a controllable manner?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd be figuring out.
was a little tricky under braking. Like, you had to kind of hit the brake pedal, set it, and then get down into the corner. It was violent, but oh yeah, that just so cool to get to race there again, man. Like, that was always my least favorite track growing up. I always ran poorly there. I ran so much citrus and Auburndale stuff that, like, you brake early in the corner, you settle the car down in, like, the more gentle and more patient you drive it, the faster you go. And DeSoto is just hair on fire, driving as hard as you can every foot of the track. And I sucked there growing up. And then the races where we did bring speed, something bad would happen. And I've never really could put it together there in a late model. The Sportsman car, we've been fortunate. I've been there 5 sports races. I got 3 wins in 2 seconds across those 5 starts. But the late model, I've never been able to put it together. And it was so frustrating to fall out of that one because the car was such a rocket.
Yeah. That was a rough night for the Sportsman cars.
Yeah.
That night, it was rough. Like,
I mean, and the race before that at Auburndale, the 2 races, those 2 races were really rough.
And see, I love that class down here.
Yeah.
I love that class. It's one of the coolest classes, and I feel like it's such a growth class. But when that stuff happens, and a lot of times we always say, right, what makes a car get out of control is, at the end of the day, it's the driver.
Yeah.
They're putting themselves beyond something. They think they got it, but then things happen, but they don't realize they take 1 or 2 or 3 guys out, and it's a bummer, and then it just creates that.
It's the downside to those cars. They make so much downforce in their relatively low horsepower. Like, they carry a ton of corner speed.
Yep.
So you get kind of a false bravery of, well, and also, like, the class has elevated itself so much that everyone's about the same speed. Like, there's not a lot of variance, so you have to work really hard to make a pass.
Yeah.
And in today's just culture of racing, patience is no longer a virtue.
Yeah.
So then you get people getting frustrated quickly and throwing a send that they shouldn't. And then the other car is like, well, I don't know, I'm coming down because nobody said inside because, it's too late now whenever they got there. And then they're so on top of each other, a simple spin turns into a 10-car pileup because they're all racing their asses off, an inch off of each other. I mean, that's what happened. I'm sitting here looking at my Sportsman car. It's still torn up from the Auburndale race. I brought it out here, and I had an ignition box apparently going bad, so it was popping and breaking up, and I was chasing the issue, whatever. And right before the race started, I changed the ignition box and then fixed it. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll just hang out back here in the back. And I qualified 23rd because it was on whatever 6 cylinders, and the first time I've qualified outside like the top 5 with that car, and now it needs an entire body and a radiator and everything.
Yeah. I said at least one thing with the body. Some of it you can just lay out on the carpet and hammer it back into straight.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like Sozio's car, like, it's probably needed a quarter panel and a door for 2 races, but just like, we'll get to that the summer break and then we'll fix it. We'll just beat it back out again and get some decent vital on there. It's hard to tell from far away versus a $200 fender or a $500 hood or whatever on the late models. Like, there's definitely a lot of pros to the Sportsman class. Like, the cheap shock, the bodies are, like I said, you can
you build them with a piece of tin. Yeah, it is. That's the parts that are nice.
Yeah.
My Outlaw car up home, that same way. But you're right. We had one of the best Outlaw cars up in Wisconsin. I mean, we won 7 features that last year. I ran it, and even the car was that fast. It's hard to pass, and people don't even realize it. Even if you're a tenth and a half better than the guy next to you, it's just you're carrying so much momentum with that car because it's all momentum and that type of thing. But yeah,
and they make so much downforce that the dirty air becomes a big thing with those cars.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you can look on Race Monitor. I won the fall 2023 race at Freedom Factory, and when I got into the lead, the first laps I ran after the restart, taking the lead, I ran my fastest lap, or the fastest lap of the race, by 3 tenths. I picked up 3 full tenths getting into the lead and getting clean air on the nose.
Clean air, for sure.
Like, it's crazy how much it makes a difference on those cars, especially at that level. I mean, I even think in Auburndale you start dealing with it a little bit in those things because we've gotten so creative and the bodies are so good on them, and they're sealed and twisted and skewed and everything, and it makes a big
which
difference
makes it
on
fun.
them.
Actually, that makes it fun. Like
Oh, yeah.
we did that same thing. We ran up at Madison. I don't know if you've ever been to Madison, Wisconsin. It's a really, really fast half mile. It's real skinny, long straightaways. And we went up there and tested with one of them. And I could not believe coming off the wall, you'd come up off of turn 2, get up to the wall, and how much aero feel you just felt by yourself in that car. And, you know, I was trying to run it like a dirt car where I had my right side there was no roll back when we were doing it. I had the right side all curved out like a dirt car, and it was just a nasty looking thing. And that thing was crazy on that track where, the bigger the track. We went to La Crosse with it. 5/8 mile, I held it wide open, never lifted. I had a 602 and never lifted the throttle. I won by, I literally almost lapped the entire field. And then the flagman kept telling me to slow down, but I never lifted. I held it wide open and just ran the brake a little bit in the corner. Otherwise, that thing had that much downforce. And I was 13th in the super late model. My 602 Outlaw was 13th with the same weight as the super late models lap times. They kept saying that. They're like, and it's funny because what I did, I jumped in a super right after that because you're holding the throttle that wide open. I overdrove the super so bad. It was just fun. I'm like, holy balls, I got to lift here in a little bit. But yeah, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff.
Last September when we ran the supers at Freedom Factory, I brought my Sportsman also and was pulling double duty. And I went out, I think the first 2 or 3 rounds in the super, and then I got into the Sportsman. And my first full lap at speed in the Sportsman, I went P1 in practice of whatever everyone had done so far on the night. It was like, oh my God, you could just drive this thing all the way down into the corner on the chip still, set it, gag, like the roll speed felt noticeably faster than the super.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much those bodies do.
Yeah, it's crazy because that's how I felt even out there in practice with the supers. They put me out there with the supers because of our lap speeds. I was murdering them in the corner. And it's funny, we're on 8-inch tires, and they're on a 10-inch tire, and we're murdering them in the corner. I'm like thinking to myself, this is how much downforce. So then you're trying to manipulate your other car to, maybe we need the fenders wider. And we were running we ran actually a 2-inch setback on the engines. And it's funny, I was just talking to Augie about this. We were talking about motors, and I said, remember we ran the 2-inch setback, fuel cells 10 inches, and we were just as fast as we are now with 4-inch setbacks, and the fuel cell's laying down at 8 inches. I said, maybe we're missing something here. Put the motor back up over the axle, and you don't need the brakes. The front end, you get the front end grip, and put steel heads on them, and the steel heads making the thing roll over. It's just kind of comical that it's like that, but I thank you for coming on with us tonight. Like I said, we were just throwing guys together. Like I said, Augie did just text me, apologize again. He said he was under the weather, and we're definitely going to have him back on. Yeah. He said it's been a 2-day deal for him, really bad. So, but But
I don't know, whatever's going around. I had it 2 or 3 weeks ago. I felt miserable, couldn't breathe or anything the week I had I had my truck rented out at Auburndale for my development guy Matthew, and I finally got healthy enough to make it to the track, and it worked out well because he got his second win with me. That little dude, he's just turned 13 and missed a pole by 100th, and we started 6th, I think, in the first race. Fell back on the start, got down, ended up back up to 3rd, and then in the second feature he started 3rd. Got the lead from Little Bigley, and never relinquished it. It was that kid's good, man. We had a bunch of restarts that night, and I felt like everybody in the field took their turn restarting next to him. And I'm up there trying to blow my nose between spotting and stuff. So still feeling like crap, and you don't have much time to not be on the radio around that place. Yeah. It was but seeing him get his second win out there, it was really cool because you know how hard you have to work at that place. Yeah. Up against the trucks there. That division's cool because it's so full of drivers that have ran that division for a long time.
Yeah, they know each other. Group. Yeah, they know each other.
Yeah, so for him to invade in there at as a middle schooler and win was really cool to see. And like I said, I'm trying to preach to him as much as possible to be clean and respectful, so they accept him at that level. And he's done a really good job of it. I've had to do super minimal body work to it. He's clean, calm. Does a really good job with it. That made it worse, the struggle of making it through the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
nowadays, especially
Yeah,
respect.
'cause-
We were just talking about that not long ago. Like the respect in racing has gone.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it in regards to the Sportsman series.
Yeah, it needs.
Yeah.
Like we have to remember again. Like a lot of times too, a lot of times you don't know who's paying for the car, right? A lot of who you're racing with,
Right.
Who's
Yeah.
paying for the car, or even working on it. It's not even the paying for it. Who's working on it? Because the guy that works on it, it's the hardest part of it. It's I told
God, yeah.
myself I would never let my son race a car unless he worked on it because I'm just
Oh,
not
for
that
sure.
way.
Then you don't appreciate it as much. You take advantage because you don't know the time and effort that goes into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
Daniel,
it's a culture issue.
I appreciate you calling in again, and I know in a couple weeks we'll be talking to you again.
Yes.
Yep.
Pretty
yeah,
sure-
I'm just out here
Our monthly segment.
out in the shop tinkering. Yeah, RFD monthly segment check-in.
So
Sounds good.
between
yeah, I'll,
between all the stuff that we do, you might as well be our host. You're next.
one of these days I'll make it in studio if
Yeah,
we plan
yeah, you have a
further
good
ahead
time.
than 30 minutes.
Grant keeps feeding us cranberry Tito's and cranberry.
Nice.
I've got Blackberry Crown.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's the good
A
stuff.
little dash of Mountain Dew Baja Blast and a little lime juice.
Oh,
We're working with
jeez.
Ooh, a
tonight.
He's
real
jacked up.
It's good with lemonade
Well, yeah,
too.
I ran out, so I had to improvise. But
Yellow and yellow.
That
yes,
awesome. Well, Daniel, we're going to go to break here. Thank you again, and thanks for a good show. And well, I'm sure we'll be talking soon.
Yes, thank you.
sounds good. Thank you guys.
You bet.
Bye bye.
Well, we had quite a difference in phone.
Hi, my name is Joe Constance with Joe's Racing Products. My company has been producing high-quality racing components in the USA for over 30 years. We know the commitment and determination it takes to win races because we race too. We're determined to produce quality products that can help you get to the finish line first. Ask your dealer for Joe's Racing Products or visit us online at joesracing.com.
Buying or selling a home? It's more than a transaction, it's a strategy. I'm Amy Lynn, and I bring clarity, confidence, and results to your real estate journey. Whether you're searching for the perfect place to call home or preparing to list your home for top dollar, I've got you covered. With smart marketing, strong negotiation, and a network you can trust, I don't just help clients close, I help them win. Let's make your next move the right one.
Welcome back to the Let's Talk Short Track Racing podcast. Well, what a night we've had.
Actually, I kind of like these
A
nights.
a little Florida night. We talked to three
Yeah.
different drivers.
Yep.
From,
All good guys. Like
Yeah.
and it's neat to hear because each one has something to say.
Yeah.
and here's me, like, right? I know Daniel now. It's funny. I like having Daniel on because
Yeah.
they're real, right?
Yeah.
And the more he's on, he gets more real.
Yeah.
And so that's neat to have him on. And then, like I say, I've never met Billy, like,
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
But hearing, like, where his heart is with racing
Yeah.
as a whole, it tells people right there, no matter what they're doing out there, it's no different why I'm here. Like, I feel like how with racing, I love the sport so much.
Yeah.
It's you give it your heart, and it's easier to just say, you know what, I'm just going to put an umbrella drink and go to the beach, and that's just going to be my life.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I have such a passion for this sport, and then you hear all the passion, everybody has the same passion.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's neat what the Bigley family's doing. I do believe that's going to be one of the greatest races in the future.
Especially for, it's a 1 day show, well, 1 day plus practice.
Yeah.
But if you compare it to, it's easiest to compare it to, per se, the Derby, because they're a week and
Yeah.
a half apart, or 2 weeks apart. But yeah, the Derby, it's similar pay, I believe, and the number of tires for the super race, you're probably looking at 10 sets.
Yeah.
For the week,
Yeah,
whereas for
the
the Bigley,
cost differences is so different.
yeah, and for
Yeah.
the same purse,
Yeah.
yes, the Derby has that name.
The
that you're-
Derby,
yeah,
it's just it has the history.
yeah, it
But
has.
they're about to create a history.
It is. I believe this is the 9th year of it, of the Bigley Memorial, and yeah, I think that you are
Yeah.
seeing it develop
Yeah.
into.
He talked about Jason Edmonds. So I know Jason really well. Jason has been around racing a long time. He's an excellent spotter. Actually, Jason has spotted for me in his career, or my career, I should say. At times, he's friends of the family, like pushing that up there to make this happen down here. It's funny. It's like trying to figure out these little creativities that cost nothing.
Yeah.
But the Freedom Factory can't be a better place.
And I think also one thing that they are doing so right too is the fact that it is a track, especially because they do have a lot of out-of-town drivers, and that's something that the Bigleys want to attract.
Yeah.
You can only race on it twice a year.
Yeah.
And I think that's
So you don't
great.
have guys test timing.
And
Yeah.
you can't rent
Yeah.
that track.
Yeah.
Cletus does not rent it out.
Yep.
Which I think makes it all that more fair. And honestly,
I think I need to drive a Crown Vic. We do Crown Vic races over it. That's the only testing you're going to get.
Yeah, they throughout the year a little bit they've done some other truck races and
Yeah.
sportsman races, but I'm sure any seat time is
Better
helps.
than not, yeah.
But I wonder how much you can take those, and you might be able to tell me. How much can you take the seat time in those to the late models? Does it help much, or it doesn't help with setup really, does
Right.
it?
The setup for us was tough. Thank God we had the day. I was impressed with Kendrick. Never been there. We got the car, ends up second. With his favorite car in the shop, the old Yellowbird. that car he likes. And there again, he did pass 7 cars under green.
Yeah.
When you
And
look
that's
back.
not an easy track
No,
to
it
pass
isn't.
at.
It's very tough. It's tough, and he was getting it done, but there again managing.
Yeah.
Didn't take what he couldn't take.
Respect.
There was respect there, and I think down here the Florida guys are getting to know him now.
Yeah.
And he likes a lot of them. So I'm not. He's social media as well. He's on Snapchat with them. They went over and Bray was racing last
Yeah.
weekend over, and here they're.
Hanging
Max
out.
and Kendrick went out and hang out with them, and that's neat stuff. They went to watch the
especially
race.
with him
and-
being so new
Yeah.
into the state.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I hope any of these guys, when they decide to go up north, they were just a phone call away or come over and visit the
Yeah.
GTR Ranch. We got some good notes for up there too. But yeah, no, I think it's neat. That race is going to be big. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be a massive historic race. No matter what, I hope the Bigley family, the support stays there.
Yeah.
And that's where the racers too, hint, like we need to help with that.
Yeah.
You're not just having one guy and we all show up there and collect a check.
Yeah.
I think if we all had, an in on that deal,
Yeah.
that just only makes it bigger. I always talk investments. Only way to keep racetracks, I've said this my whole life, the only way to keep racetracks going is we get them ourselves.
Yeah.
Then you got a Freedom Factory. That place ain't going anywhere.
No.
That's so successful.
Yeah. Even
and-
without the short track
Yeah,
racing,
and it's there.
just an added
Yeah.
bonus for him.
Yep. we need a bunch of Cletuses doing
If
some
only.
crazy stuff at all these
Or
tracks.
Cletus just can buy more racetracks and have more.
Well,
point
that's where I
effectors.
feel like the racers should.
Yeah.
The racer families should invest in racetracks. I
Yeah.
always said this: if you bought one and owned it,
Yeah.
and let's say you had, I'm talking 4-cylinders, 6-cylinders, Crown Vic guys, they all invested it as investments,
Yeah.
and you own it. But then when one closes, that investment group buys the next one. That's the only way it'll probably work in the future. I
Yeah,
mean,
long term.
otherwise, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Otherwise you depend on a Cletus, type guy. But well, good show.
Yeah.
I think it turned out good,
Yeah.
and I missed it last week. You guys did a great job, and
Thank you.
next week I hope you got something else.
Yes.
But I definitely have to be here. Rich Vic will be on, but
Yeah.
I think I think next week we had Jake back on with him. I think
Yeah.
it'll be good. But,
You leaving us again?
or 2 weeks. I'm sorry, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably am leaving in. We
Yeah.
get the 25th. I'll be standing by. That'll
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah.
Rich is a friend of mine. Got a lot going
He'll
on. It'll be
just be
fun
a
to have
viewer.
him. Yeah, it'll. Yeah, I don't know if we want both of us on. Then the
Oh,
F
boy.
bombs come out and it go number shop talking. But we want to talk about his history because he's got a great one for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So that's it, kiddo.
Yeah, we
Had
had
a
a
good
good
show?
show, and hoping Augie feels better soon, and we'll definitely have to have him on once he's feeling better.
Yeah, no, for sure. We miss Yagi. We'll definitely have you on. Thanks for the text message. He felt he definitely would like to be on. So
Yeah, for sure. So make sure you go ahead and like us, subscribe on YouTube, and give us a follow or subscribe on Spotify and everything too. And we will be back next week.
Buying or selling a home? It's more than a transaction, it's a strategy. I'm Amy Lynn, and I bring clarity, confidence, and results to your real estate journey. Whether you're searching for the perfect place to call home or preparing to list your home for top dollar, I've got you covered. With smart marketing, strong negotiation, and a network you can trust, I don't just help clients close, I help them win. Let's make your next move the right one.
Hi, my name is Joe Constance with Joe's Racing Products. My company has been producing high-quality racing components in the USA for over 30 years. We know the commitment and determination it takes to win races because we race too. We're determined to produce quality products that can help you get to the finish line first. Ask your dealer for Joe's Racing Products or visit us online at joesracing.com.